If you overthink decisions, conversations, or moments in the past, there's a reason. And it's not because you're weak or broken. In this video, I'll explain exactly what's going on here and how to calm down your mind so you don't overthink. I'm Steve Maher, I'm a best-selling author, accredited coach and registered therapist, and I've helped hundreds of clients in over 3,000 hours of coaching sessions with their overthinking. Because overthinking is not a flaw, it's a protection strategy that's just gone into overdrive. By the end of this video, you'll fully understand what's driving that overthinking, and I'm going to give you 3 simple strategies to how to quieten down those annoying thoughts. Let me tell you something personal. You see, years ago when I was at work, I'd rerun these conversations over and over in my head. It was particularly bad when dealing with someone important like my boss or my boss's boss or an important client. I'd end up in these endless loops of conversation in my head. What have I said? Did I say too much? Have I shared too much? What haven't I said? Did I say too little? How is this going to come across? Do I look like I'm covering my back? When I ask them for help, have I upset them? When I ask for help, have I implied that they're not helping me? Over and over and over again. On the outside, everything looked fine, but on the inside, I was a mess. I was exhausted from all these conversations just that went round and round and round in my head. To cope with this, I said to myself, Steve, you're being thorough here, you're being careful, you're being responsible. But the truth is, I did not feel calm on the inside. I actually felt really tense and on edge. And what surprised me is the more I did this overthinking, the worse it got. And then I realized something important. This is the thing that most people don't get. You see, overthinking is not about thinking too much. It's actually your brain responding to a perceived threat. When your nervous system feels unsafe, whether it's psychologically, emotionally, or socially, it goes into what I call protection mode. And at work, I didn't feel safe. You see, I was absolutely convinced that I was getting away with it. I was going to get found out at any stage. I was struggling with the classic imposter syndrome, and I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that I didn't get found out. And one of your favourite tools of your brain for doing this is thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong. You see, when you're in this situation, your mind is scanning for danger everywhere. It's trying to anticipate you making mistakes. It's trying to identify future problems. It's constantly coming up with worst case scenarios. And it's not doing this to drive you mad. It's actually trying to keep you safe. And that's why when we're tired or we're overworked or we're stressed or under pressure or we try to stay strong for too long, it just gets worse. And simply telling yourself to just stop overthinking, that doesn't work. So if overthinking is a safety strategy, the solution is not to fight it. What needs to happen here is your nervous system just needs to understand that it's not in a situation where it needs to work so hard. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to do just that. Now, my first approach here is to name what's actually going on. This is surprisingly simple and yet effective. It's about giving the thought that you're having a label, like I'm having the I'm worrying at work thought, or I'm having the imposter syndrome thought. It's not about beating yourself up or making yourself feel bad about what's going on here. It's about giving the thought a name. That adds a little bit of distance between you and the thought, and it dials down the intensity of the thought. If you want to take this one to the next level, the best approach I've ever come up with is to add a little bit of humour. Like, I'm noticing I'm having the doom and gloom thought, or even better, oh, here comes Kevin, the catastrophizer. My second approach is shifting from thinking to sensing. You see, if you've got a fire raging, you don't go and chuck more fuel on the fire to put it out. You actually need to take fuel off the fire. And it's like with your overthinking. The solution is not to think even more about the situation. So how can we do this? How can we move from the mind to the body? Well, simple examples are things like noticing your feet firmly placed on the floor, paying attention to your breathing, or looking around the room and noticing 3 things you can see. You're moving from thinking to sensing. And when you do this, this is known as grounding. And when you calm your body, the mind will follow. My third and final tip on how to stop overthinking is to change the question you're asking of yourself. You see, when you're in this overthinking mode, you'll be asking questions like, what if something goes wrong? Instead, it may be a better idea to ask yourself the question, what can I do to make myself feel a little bit calmer? There's loads of examples of how to do this. And I'm not talking about making yourself 100% calm, just 5% calmer is all it takes. My favourite is going for a walk, but take a pause, have a break, have a cup of coffee, go and speak to someone. Anything to get you outside of your own head and to stop these endless loops of thoughts that you're having. If you're an overthinker, like many of the people that I get to work with, here's the great news. You're not broken. Your brain and your mind are just trying to do their job, which is to keep you safe and protect you. And the secret is to stop fighting your brain and the thoughts and to start working with your nervous system. Because when you learn to calm your nervous system, you'll learn to calm your mind and calm these thoughts. If you found this video useful, join me in the next one where you'll learn even more.